contracts. We actually have to sign in blood? Yes, absolutely. It's traditional, and you'll do it now. He read the businessman's sideways glance correctly. I promise you, no one will see what you are doing, he said. As the devil spoke, a sudden hush enveloped the three men, and a thick film fell between them and the rest of the street scene. The businessman sighed elaborately to show how melodramatic he thought this tradition was. Tyrese, your knife, he said, looking up to the chauffeur. Tyrese's knife appeared with shocking suddenness, probably from his coat sleeve. The blade was obviously sharp, and it gleamed in the streetlight. The businessman shucked off his coat and handed it to his companion. He unbuttoned his cuff and rolled up his sleeve. Perhaps to let the devil know how tough he was, he jabbed himself in the left arm with the knife. A sluggish trickle of blood rewarded his effort, and he looked the devil directly in the face as he accepted the quill that the devil had somehow supplied, even more smoothly than Tyrese had produced the knife. Dipping the quill into the trail of blood, the businessman signed his name to the top document, which the chauffeur held pressed against the leather folder. After he'd signed, the businessman returned the knife to the chauffeur and donned his coat. The chauffeur followed the same procedure as his employer. When he'd signed his own contract, he blew on it to dry the blood, as if he'd signed with a Sharpie and the ink might smear. The devil smiled when the signatures were complete. The moment he did, he didn't look quite so much like a prosperous man of affairs. He looked too damn happy. You get a sign-in bonus, he told the businessman, since you brought me another soul. By the way, how do you feel? Just like I always did, said the businessman. He buttoned up his coat. Maybe a little angry. He smiled suddenly, his teeth looking as sharp and gleaming as the knife had. How are you, Tyrese? He asked his employee. A little antsy, Tyrese admitted, but I'll be okay. You were both bad people to begin with, the devil said, without any judgment in his voice. The souls of the innocent are sweeter, but I delight in having you. I suppose you're sticking with the usual wish list, prosperity, the defeat of your enemies. Yes, I want those things, the businessman said with passionate sincerity, and I have a few more requests, since I get a signing bonus, or could I take that in cash? Oh, the devil said, smiling gently, I don't deal in cash. I deal in favors. Can I get back to you on that? The businessman asked after some thought. Take a rain check? The devil looked faintly interested. You don't want an Alfa Romeo? Or a night with Nicole Kidman? Or the biggest house in the French Quarter? The businessman shook his head decisively. I'm sure something will come up that I do want, and then I'd like to have a very good chance of getting it. I was a successful man until Katrina, and after Katrina, I thought I would be rich because I own a lumber business. Everyone needed lumber. He took a deep breath. He kept on telling his story, despite the fact that the devil looked bored. But getting a supply line reestablished was hard. So many people didn't have money to spend because they were ruined, and there was the wait for the insurance money, for the rest. I made some mistakes, believing the fly-by-night builders would pay me on time. It all ended up with my business too extended, everyone owing me, my credit stretched as thin as a condom on an elephant. Knowledge of this is getting around. He looked down. I'm losing the influence I had in this city. Possibly the devil had known all those things, and that was why he'd approached the businessman. Clearly he was not interested in the businessman's litany of woes. Prosperity it is, then, he said briskly, and I look forward to your special request. Tyrese, what do you want? I have your soul, too. I don't believe in souls, Tyrese said flatly. I don't think my boss does either. We don't mind giving you what we don't believe we have. He grinned at the devil, man to man, which was a mistake. The devil was no man. The devil smiled back. Tyrese's grin vanished at the sight. What do you want? The devil repeated. I won't ask again.